This weekend will be cold and snowy, and that cold snap starts tonight with a cold weather advisory being put in place at 3 a.m. I'll have the full details coming up. Ben?
Thanks, Emily. Also tonight, a national health organization is asking for your help.
Plus, a state board calls for more funding to college and university students. How's that impacting students in need? This is Newswatch, and your Thursday's edition starts now.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection, commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
Bitter cold and heavy snow could soon be on the horizon in east central Illinois. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Matthew Posner.
And I'm Ben Whitney. For a first check of what to expect, we now turn to local forecaster Emily Davis. Good evening, Emily.
Good evening. Now, National Weather Service has placed us under a winter storm watch that'll start at 6 a.m. on Saturday and last until 6 p.m. on Sunday, and that's because of the heavy snow that we are expecting as we move throughout this weekend. But along with that, we've also been placed under a winter weather advisory that'll take place tonight at 3 a.m. and last until noon on Saturday, and that's because we're going to be seeing some very cold wind chills as we move throughout the weekend, in the negative teens to the negative 20s as we move throughout the weekend and into tomorrow as well. And that cold snap starts tonight with a low temperature tonight of just 5 degrees, and we're going to be seeing mostly cloudy skies, but winds blowing out of the north at 10 to 15 miles per hour are going to cause that low temperature of 5 degrees to feel much colder than it really is, with wind chills to negative 15 to negative 25 degrees as we move throughout the weekend, and that's going to continue as we move into tomorrow with a high temperature of just 7 degrees. That's a first look at your Skywatch forecast. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Emily. Now for a Newswatch follow-up. After a continuous blood shortage, the American Red Cross is asking the public for help.
Newswatch's Olivia Bennett spoke with a representative today about why donating is more important now than ever. Olivia?
You're totally right, Matt. Jace Eustace, Regional Communications Manager for the American Red Cross, told me today that if the blood shortage doesn't halt soon, hospitals could be forced to triage critical blood products. Now, that means hospital faculty would have to examine all needs for blood and determine what can wait and what can't. Now, that could result in the delay of operations like surgeries and other treatment plans. Eustace says the organization's goal is to prevent healthcare facilities from getting to that point.
Important to remember too that blood is perishable, can't be stockpiled. It can't be something that we just stock up on advance, but we have to make sure that the blood supply can be replenished with those generous donors rolling up that sleeve, making that donation, helping save lives, because you never know who could be in need of blood products.
Eustace says a blood shortage is common for this time of year, and there are several factors that play into it, including flu season, holiday travel, and bad weather. The next blood drive that's coming up in Coles County is going to be in Charleston at the St. Charles Catholic Church on January 29th. Reporting from the newsroom, I'm Olivia Bennett for WEIU.
Thanks for the update, Olivia. Authorities are investigating the cause of a house fire in Urbana. The Urbana Fire Department says they responded to a home in the 900 block of North Gregory Street Wednesday afternoon. They say smoke was visible from the front door of the home when fire crews arrived. Firefighters quickly entered the building and had the fire under control within 10 minutes. No injuries have been reported at this time.
The Illinois Board of Higher Education is recommending more funding for student grants in the next fiscal year. This week, the board approved recommendations that include a $5 million increase for the AIM High Grant Program and a $50 million increase for the MAP Grant Program. This would bring total MAP grant funds to $771.6 million. According to IBHE, 80% of qualified students attended schools fee-free in the 2024-25 academic year through funding increases to these two programs. The city of Charleston is temporarily closing its landscape waste facility. The facility on West Madison Avenue is used for discarded trees, limbs, and other yard waste. City officials say the site will close January 23rd and open again March 1st, while a vendor grinds the landscape materials into mulch. That mulch can then be picked up by residents for free. Starting April 11th, city employees will be on site 2 Saturdays a month to help residents load mulch with city equipment. A local law enforcement officer is taking off the badge after nearly 30 years of service. The Coles County Sheriff's Office announced Captain Brian Houston's retirement yesterday. Sheriff Ken Martin says Houston made his mark on the office by maintaining technology like body cameras, radios, and other gadgets. Martin says the captain is looking forward to some well-deserved time off with his family at home. The office says they are working on a plan to fill Houston's shoes, which could potentially include hiring more hands. Well, you may need to warm up those hands this weekend. We're continuing to follow chances for bitter cold and wintry weather.
Emily Davis joins us at the Weather Center with the latest forecast. Emily?
A very cold weekend is ahead with chances for accumulating snowfall on Saturday and Sunday. I'll have more on just how cold and how much snow coming up.
A South Florida grocery store had a bizarre beef play out with a shopper who allegedly shoved a pair of steaks down his pants. According to WPLG, the owner of Kosher Kingdom in Aventura, Florida, says the man was spotted on surveillance cramming a ribeye and a large brisket in his britches.
He came over here, looked around to see if anybody was looking, and he shoved it in his pants.
He reportedly saved room in his pair of pants for a wine pairing, allegedly concealing a bottle as well, before being confronted by employees in an adjacent parking lot who got the stuffed foodstuffs back.
He ran off after we got the stuff back. By the time the cops got there, he was gone.
The owner told WPLG he understands meat prices are high right now, but also said regardless, it's not right to come in and steal. By the way, I had like 5 steaks in pants jokes that were deemed inappropriate, so I was forced to trim the fat. And from choice cuts to ice cutting. Coast Guard cutter crews are getting a lot of work these days, helping ships push their way through frozen waters. The U.S. Coast Guard Great Lakes recently made back-to-back posts on their Facebook page showing cutter vessels assisting large ships stuck in ruts of thick ice on lakes Huron and Erie by bypassing them to break up the sheets, thus clearing the way for transit. The Coast Guard says these cutting vessels and their intrepid crews play a vital role of ensuring safe and navigable waterways, even when Mother Nature has other plans. Finally, one more surreal sight on an icy night. Recent intense geomagnetic and solar radiation storms led to an amazing night light show in places like this chill spot in Canada where the glimmering, shimmering auroras were in rare and riveting form. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
We're in for a very cold and snowy weekend, and that starts with National Weather Service that is going to be placing a winter storm watch over top of us on Saturday at 6 a.m. and lasting till Sunday at 6 p.m. But also, along with that, we've also been placed under a cold weather advisory. This will take place tonight at 3 a.m. and last until noon on Saturday. And this is because we're going to be seeing wind chills that are going to be in the negative teens to the negative 20s as we move throughout this weekend. But we did not see that cold of temperatures today. High temperatures in the 30s throughout the daytime today. A high temperature of 34 degrees here in Charleston, although we did reach the upper 30s down in Effingham with a high temperature of 38 degrees. But as we move overnight tonight, that cold snap is going to begin, and we're going to be seeing a low temperature of just 5 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. And along with that, we're going to be seeing winds blowing out of the north at 10 to 15 miles per hour, which is going to make it feel colder than it really is, with wind chills up to negative 15 to negative 25 degrees as we move overnight tonight and into the weekend. Now we're seeing temperatures begin to drop off now, not too much yet, with temperatures currently around 29 degrees here in Charleston. But as we move further overnight tonight, we are going to see those temperatures drop, and they're not going to warm up very much as we move into tomorrow. A high temperature of just 7 degrees tomorrow, so it's going to be very cold. Once again, those wind chills are going to be in effect because of these winds blowing out of the north in the morning and afternoon at 10 to 15 miles per hour, and in the late evening at 5 to 10 miles per hour. But either way, these winds are going to cause the wind chills once again to be in the negative teens and negative 20s as we move throughout our Friday. And as we look at look at the next 24 hours, we're going to be seeing these wind chills throughout the daytime, not leaving the negative teens throughout the entire daytime tomorrow, even though our temperatures throughout the day are in the single digits. So it's going to be a very cold day tomorrow, but it's also not going to be a very sunny one either, with mostly cloudy skies throughout the majority of the daytime tomorrow. Mostly cloudy skies until the evening hours on Friday, but then after that, we're going to see a chance of snow and accumulating snow start to move in for the weekend. Snowfall on Saturday, lesser chance, but still snowfall throughout the day on Saturday. A high temperature of just 10 degrees on Saturday, so warming up a little bit, but then by Sunday, more snowfall will fall with a high of 14. By the end of this, we're expecting around 4 to 7 inches as of right now, but that's not definite as of now. But moving into the work week next week, the snow will move out and we'll see partly cloudy skies with a high temperature of 17 degrees, warming up a little bit, but still a high temperature only in the teens for next work week. And you can see this cold air just sitting over top of us as we look at this temperature map, that purple just sitting right over the majority of the Midwest. And we're well below average for this time of year. That average for this time of year is typically in the upper 30s, and looking forward to the next 7 days, we're certainly not going to be anywhere close to that. High temperature of just 7 degrees tomorrow, snow on Saturday and Sunday, but a slow warm up into the teens as we make it to next work week. High temperature of 17 degrees on Monday, eventually finally reaching the 20s by Tuesday with a high temperature of 27 degrees, but we will drop back off around midweek with a high temperature of 23 degrees on Wednesday and 25 degrees on Thursday, so it's going to be a cold weekend ahead.
Yeah, like you said, Emily, I'll definitely make sure to bundle up tomorrow. Looks like it's going to be freezing out there.
It could be shorts weather for some people out there. You never know. Thanks, Emily. Still to come, new research sheds important light on cancer rates in the U.S. We'll share the new data on younger patients.
Plus, a Texas jury reaches a verdict in the trial of a police officer charged after a deadly school shooting nearly 4 years ago. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
Drivers can expect cheaper gas in 2026. It's a rare source of relief as many Americans are drowning in higher prices. Patrick DeHaan with fuel savings platform Gas Buddy says national prices are projected to average around $2.97 a gallon. That's the cheapest it's been since COVID. That's about 13 cents cheaper this year than last year. That would translate to an average household spending of just over $2,000 on gas for the year, down from $2,700 in 2022. So what's causing this? DeHaan says there are some wild cards that could cause prices to go up, like hurricanes, political conflict in Iran, or the war between Russia and Ukraine becoming more volatile. But ultimately, DeHaan says this downward trend will continue throughout the year. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
The jury in the trial of a Uvalde, Texas police officer has cleared him of 29 criminal counts related to one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history. Officer Adrian Gonzalez had faced charges of child endangerment and abandonment. Sherelle Hubbard has the latest.
An emotional end to the 3-week trial of Adrian Gonzalez.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Adrian Gonzalez, not guilty.
In a Texas courtroom Wednesday, victims wept over the verdict, but jurors were tasked with deciding if what prosecutors alleged about former Uvalde police officer Adrian Gonzalez was true. Prosecutors argued that Gonzalez should have done more to stop or delay the mass shooting that left 19 children and 2 teachers dead at Robb Elementary in 2022.
If it's appropriate to stand outside hearing 100 shots while children are being slaughtered, that is your decision.
Something rose from that day, and that was another monster, a monster that came from fear, hesitation, and inaction.
The defense team said the jurors were very diligent.
It was emotional for them, you can tell. They said there was gaps in the evidence. They appreciated us bringing out those gaps. They considered everything.
Gonzalez was one of the first officers on the scene, and he's the first officer to face trial in the highly criticized law enforcement response to the shooting. He had pleaded not guilty. His defense arguing that Gonzalez did act and said he eventually rescued children. The criminal case against Gonzalez raised difficult legal questions about the responsibilities of police officers and who can be held accountable for a mass shooting. I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
If convicted, Gonzalez would have faced 6 months to 2 years in jail and a fine of up to $10,000 for each count. New research suggests colorectal cancer now appears to be the deadliest form of cancer in young adults. The medical journal JAMA released a report today finding that, as of 2023, colorectal cancer surpassed other cancer types to become the leading cause of U.S. cancer deaths for people under 50. Researchers say deaths from colon and rectal cancers from this group rose 1.1% every year since 2005. The senior author of the study says they can't explain the increase. It's important to note the data also showed deaths decreased for every other leading type of cancer. Let's send it over to my co-anchor Matthew Posner for a check of sports.
Thanks, Ben. Tonight in sports, we're down to 4 teams still in the chase for the Super Bowl. We'll have a full preview of both conference championships in just a bit. But first, a local basketball star is just 27 points away from history. Thanks for watching. Your WEIU Sports Watch report is coming up right after this.
No cable, no problem. If you live in the WEIU viewing area, you can watch us live 24/7 online at WEIU.net. Stream your favorite local shows like City Spotlight, The Paw Report, Being Well, and WEIU Newswatch. And you can't forget our stellar kids programming, again, online anytime. Just head to WEIU.net and click on this image. WEIU, we're here for you.
Charleston boys basketball is back in action tonight after securing an important victory their last time out. The Trojans face off against Rantoul after upsetting Meridian 53-47, putting an end to a 10-game losing skid. Now it's Rantoul that's in desperate need of a win as they enter tonight fresh off of losing their last 4 contests. Tonight's game tips off at 7 in Baker Gym. 27 points. That's all that's standing in the way between Tyler Oakley and Charleston basketball history. Oakley has scored 1,436 career points across 4 years with the Trojans to break the all-time record of 1,462 points tonight at home against Rantoul. That scoring record was set by Derek Landris all the way back in 1991. Oakley was tremendous in the Trojans' last contest, dropping over 30 points in a win over Meridian and inching him even closer to the all-time record. Sports Watch will be on scene at tonight's contest, and we'll have the full highlights tomorrow. Switching over now to college hoops, Eastern Illinois men's and women's basketball take the court tonight against the Southern Indiana Screaming Eagles. The men's team is still searching for their first road win of the season. They've lost all 9 away from home so far. The Panthers enter this game after crushing Blackburn 105-49 on Sunday. As for the women's side of the ball, they'll look to get things back on track after losing their last 2 games. Despite their recent loss against Little Rock, Sydney James DeRoche posted her second career double-double with 11 points and 14 rebounds. The women are currently in action, and the Screaming Eagles are up 31-19. The men's game will tip off after the conclusion of the women's contest. As for Eastern Illinois football, they have announced the newest addition to their coaching staff. Mike McClanathan has been hired as the Panthers' offensive line coach. McClanathan spent the past 2 seasons as co-offensive coordinator and O-line coach at Division II program Saginaw Valley State. EIU finished 3-9 last season in year 4 under head coach Chris Wilkerson and will take on Murray State in the 2026 season opener on August 27th. Illinois men's basketball is on a tear. They're winners of 7 straight contests. Look to make it 8 as the Maryland Terrapins come to town. Early on, nobody can stop Andrei Stojakovic. His 2 big triples help the Illini open up a sizable first-half advantage. It's raining triples in Champaign as David Merkovich buries a tray on the wing and in the corner. Maryland has no answers defensively. Andrei Stojakovic, the son of former NBA legend Peja Stojakovic, puts the cherry on top late with this physical layup, giving him a season-high 30 points. Illinois cruises to an easy win as they take down Maryland 89-70. 1 year removed from an NBA Finals appearance, the Indiana Pacers are 10-34 and need to turn it around fast if they want to save their season. But Indiana's tough schedule doesn't get any easier as they head east to face Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics. Pascal Siakam woke up ready to play, and this thunderous tomahawk in the first sent a message. It may not be Valentine's Day just yet, but Baylor Shireman is blowing kisses to the Pacers bench after burying a corner three in their faces. Now in the third, Sam Hauser pulls off his best Jason Williams impression on this no-looker to Neemias Queta, who slams it down right over Jay Huff. And now the play of the night. Derek White heaves this pass beautifully across the court to Hauser, who puts Siakam in a spin cycle before draining the mid-range bucket. The Celtics pull away late and hand the Pacers their 35th loss of the campaign, taking Indy down 119-104. Just 4 teams remain in the NFL playoffs. By the end of this weekend, we will know the participants in Super Bowl 60. The first of 2 conference championship games kicks off Sunday at 2, with the New England Patriots taking on the Denver Broncos. Denver stole in the headlines this week after head coach and EIU alum Sean Payton announced star quarterback Bo Nix suffered a season-ending broken ankle in their win over the Buffalo Bills. Now the fate of the Broncos rests in the hands of former Patriot and career backup Jarrett Stidham, who will make his first ever start for Denver on Sunday. Game 2 will pit NFC West rivals against each other once again, with the Seattle Seahawks and Los Angeles Rams dueling. The Rams knocked out the Bears last Sunday in an overtime thriller as MVP favorite Matthew Stafford looks to make his second Super Bowl appearance with LA. Sports Watch will have the recap of both games on Monday. Finally tonight, the PGA Tour season is in full swing, and the first round of the American Express is currently underway. It's been a birdie fest all day in La Quinta, California. World number 1 Scottie Scheffler carded 9 of them in an opening round 63, and he's 1 shot behind PGA Tour winner Min Woo Lee and former Texas Longhorn star Pearson Coody, who co-lead at 10 under par. That wraps up tonight's Sports Watch Report. Back to you, Ben.
Thanks, Matthew. Still to come, Emily Davis is back with a final update on a cold and wintry forecast. But first, talk about concrete plans. We'll show you how the best of the best builders are competing in Las Vegas. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
Kristen Bell is back in the spotlight. The performer is set to host this year's The Actor Awards, previously known as the SAG Awards. It'll be Bell's 3rd time hosting the show. The Actor Awards stream live on Netflix March 1st. Film editors appreciate Ang Lee. The Oscar-winning director of Brokeback Mountain and Life of Pi is this year's recipient of the American Cinema Editors Filmmaker of the Year Award. He'll be honored at the 76th Annual Ace Eddie Awards, February 27th in Los Angeles.
I get it. He's a talented athlete.
He's a cocky idiot. Besides, you already have a partner.
I always imagined we'd be doing this together. Now I want you to lose.
The 3 daughters of a figure skating dynasty are at the center of Finding Her Edge. Competition, attraction, and commitment to family collide in the series, which takes the ice today on Netflix. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Finally tonight, a competition in Las Vegas is laying a firm foundation for the future. This week, Sin City is hosting the annual World of Concrete event. The international gathering for concrete and masonry professionals includes a series of competitions for masonry apprentices, mason tenders, block layers, and bricklayers. The highlight of the competitions is the Spec Mix Bricklayer 500, which is revered as the Super Bowl of masonry. The 500 showcases the world's best bricklayers demonstrating their skill, speed, and stamina to win cash and prizes. Now it's Emily Davis's turn to showcase her skills with a final check of the Skywatch forecast.
Good evening. Well, it certainly will be cold as we move forward. Starting at 3 a.m. tonight, we're going to be under a cold weather advisory until noon on Saturday, but that's going to cause wind chills that are going to be in the negative teens to negative 20s as we look forward. We're going to be seeing a high temperature of just 7 degrees tomorrow, with cold temperatures and wind chills once again in the negative teens to negative 20s as we move throughout the daytime on Friday. But looking forward to the next 7 days, we're not going to be seeing much warmer temperatures than that. High temperatures in the teens as we move throughout the weekend, with accumulative snow on Saturday and Sunday before we eventually see partly cloudy skies on Monday and an eventual warm up into the 20s by the middle of next work week. But we're going to be seeing a very cold weekend ahead.
Thanks for that, Emily. And that wraps up tonight's edition of Newswatch. For more news and weather, be sure to log on to our website at WEIU.net.
Be sure to join us again tomorrow night for another edition of Newswatch. Enjoy your Thursday night.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.